What's up, drivers? Waiting on my guest to check in. So right now we live on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Facebook business, Facebook pages. So I'm trying to up here. I have my phone. I'm trying to see where my guest is at. It's not letting me add my co-host. So let's see if she tap in. Today I plan on going live with Josie. She's a step deck truck driver. Let's see if she tap in. The stream's supposed to start at 10, so I'll just pop in here a little early. Well, it's actually 10 right now. So just bear with me, y'all. Word. All right. Let's see what's up. Okay. Hold on. This her right here. Yes. I don't see her on it. I don't see her. So let's figure this out. Bear with me, y'all. I'm gonna try to add her to this stream. And if not, I'm gonna see if I can add her on Facebook. I tell y'all these apps, man. See if I could send her a different link. All right. So bear with me, y'all. Once I get this together, we're gonna bust it up. There she go. She say I'm on. What's up, Josie? I don't see you. Okay, say that they're waiting in the background. All right, hold on. We're gonna figure this out. This is my first time jumping on here. So let me figure this out real quick. All right, hold on. There you go. About to turn your mic on, all right?
All right.
All right. I don't know if the people could see you though. Give me one more second. It's on the job training right here.
Right.
Oh, there you go. What's up? Can you see me?
Now I can only see me. I can't.
All right, but hold on. Maybe it's something. Can you hear me though?
I can hear you. I just can't see you.
All right, let me see. Maybe it's something I gotta click. But like right now, did you add your channels?
No, because it wouldn't let me continue. I don't know why. So.
All right, we'll figure it out next time. Let's Can you see me?
Oh yeah, now I can see you.
All right, but I can't see you. But that's cool. Let me get rid of the little chat real quick.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You just really little in the corner. Okay. So you live. So we live on can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
All right. So hold on. We live on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, about 5 different channels, and YouTube. So I don't really know why you can't add me, but I'll just introduce to my followers, and hopefully you can find out if you can add me as we streaming. So I just introduce you to my followers. This is Josie. I call you Josie Joe. I just gave you a nickname. I don't know.
Yeah,
Do you have a nickname, or is that your nickname?
Josie is my nickname. Joselina is my full name, but everybody calls me Josie.
All right, let me turn this up. Okay. So how I met Josie, yo, I followed Josie on TikTok. And we just gonna jump right into it. And I've seen her doing a lot of step deck loads, right? She's a step deck trucker. And in my mind, I never really thought she was doing the loads because she's so tiny, and I'm just was wondering like, is this lady really doing these loads? I thought it was
Right.
Cap at first. So one day, but I always watch like people that follow me. I tend to watch certain people content. So I always watch their loads because she has some very interesting loads that I've never had before, like propellers and just different things. So one load in particular that really caught my attention was the load that you was chaining when you chained up. You was at a wind farm or something, and you was
Oh, yeah.
chaining up. So
Yep.
so I reached out to her. We've been following each other for a while, and I said you have a very interesting backstory, and I wanted to just bring you on my first live ever with a guest. I think I'm gonna call this Chasing White Lines or something. I don't know, but this the first live. This the first live ever. You got a strong head on your shoulders, so we could just start there. You introduce yourself to my audience, and we could take it from there. And like tell them what you do. How did you get in the truck? And let's just start right there.
So I don't have the typical background, especially for trucking. I was actually a ballerina before this. In case you guys don't know, that's actually a career, and it's probably I might be a little biased. I think it's probably one of the hardest careers out there, just because of the physical work you're putting in. Imagine everyone else is 9 to 5, but just sprint the entire time. Just run and do cardio the entire time, and then take all kinds of verbal notes and what have you. And that's pretty much what you do all day long, probably the weekends if you have shows. So I just got tired of that. That was my first career. Not just wanting.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm trying to pull you up on live. I'm sorry for interrupting. But you were saying that you was a ballerina, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So go ahead. Continue.
So yeah, but let me back up a little bit more before that. So when I was younger, I did think about trucking, but it wasn't like something I wanted to pursue. I was already pursuing ballet. Um, and then towards the end of my ballet career, if you will,
Yeah.
me and my boyfriend caught COVID, and I just couldn't breathe very well. Like when we had COVID, it was fine, but it was the after effects. I couldn't breathe very well. So I couldn't make audition season because there's no way I just physically couldn't do the work. I couldn't breathe. So um, at the same time, I was kind of looking for a career change just because I was sick and tired of the toxicity in the ballet world, and I just wanted to get out and do something completely different. So my boyfriend was kind of thinking the same thing too at that time, and originally he was just going to drive and he was going to go out, and then he kind of presented the idea, what if we just open a company? I'm like, all right. And then it just kind of turned into both of us are going to go. I'm like, all right, cool. This is I want to do something different anyways.
Right.
Didn't think it was going to be flatbed right away though, honestly. I thought we were going to be driving a dry van, but we started out with flatbed. I've had we started out with the hot shot. So I only know open deck. I haven't driven
Gotcha.
hot reefer, nothing like that. I only know open deck.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's
that's similar to me. I never drove a drive van. So you're saying you went straight from with you and your boyfriend, y'all both had different careers. I don't know, it's a little choppy. Do you hear it a little choppy on your end?
it's a little choppy.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
Oh,
Let me
now it's
try to now it's fine, right?
yeah,
Okay. So I don't know. You were saying that you and your boyfriend had different careers. You was a ballerina, and he had a different career. And when
yeah,
COVID hit, you two decided it just came in his mind. Okay, let's get in the trucking, and you started off as a hotshot driver and got into open deck. Basically, that's a
yeah,
step deck, not a flatbed, but you got into open deck loads, and you're just so most of your experience over the road or on the road comes from open deck. So I guess then that
yeah.
my segue into the next question. Once you guys got into open deck, did you decide to go local or did you jump right into over the road? Or how did you choose your routes?
We jumped into right over the road because we wanted to see everything. I wanted to just get out. Can I swear on this channel?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Go ahead.
I wanted to fuck out and just do something new and different. So we just went right over the road. I don't even think we considered local just because of rates. We kind of already had an idea. We did our finances, if you will, before we started the company about how much we should be making to to stay alive and make a profit. And
Right.
local got it, so OTR it was.
Okay.
And have our CDLs right out of the gate because, like I said, when we were getting our authority and everything, we didn't think we were going to be doing hot shot. We thought we were going to get into a semi right away, but after we got our CDL, it was just cheaper to do hot shot and then work your way up to get a semi.
So my question is, so soon as you guys got your CDL, you got your authority. I thought that takes, for those who don't know, like I thought that takes a little bit of time in order for you to book certain loads. Like even with open deck, they're more expensive loads. So as a rookie driver, you just went being owner operators, you guys were just able to book open deck loads like that? Because from my understanding, you have to have at least 2 years before people start giving you contracts. Like how did that work for you?
So, first of all, we had our authority first, and that would have been like in March or so. And then a few months later is when we had our CDL. So we had the authority, our LLC, and everything ready to go before we got our CDL, just so we didn't have to worry about that afterwards. We literally could hit the ground running.
Okay.
And I guess at the time, I it was like a few years ago. People weren't as keen on needing the 2 years of experience. There were brokers who definitely did want that, and we didn't know until we got in. But at the time, we really didn't have a whole lot of issues with that, believe it or not. We
Mm,
just literally we got on the load board and we just talked the talk, we walked the walk, act like we did this before. Then
right.
people took on it. So the actually funny enough, we were just talking yesterday. The very first load that we had, we actually rejected it because it was just too tall. So we studied a lot before we got on the road about what was going to entail about open deck specifically. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now that so you have to know your truck. So with an open deck, can you explain to everyone that may be watching now or may watch in the future, what do you mean by you had to study? Because an open deck is the height of the trailer off the ground as opposed to the loads being too high. Like, how did you guys know you weren't going to hit bridges or, give me a brief breakdown on what prepared you to know what to study actually, because a lot of people just jump behind the wheel and start driving. So what gave you guys the know-how or the wisdom as rookie drivers, never drove an open deck before, hop right into the game? Like what guided you in that direction?
well, a lot of YouTube Academy. That's really convenient nowadays.
Right.
Um, and then just remembering just simple things from CDL school. Of course, things like 13.6, that's the height limit. Knowing how low you are to the ground so you know how much you can take on your trailer. Always have a tape measure. Securing loads, again, that's pretty much all on YouTube. I didn't learn any of that in school. I just learned to drive in school. And even that, it was just
Hmm.
kind of, but a little bit of research, Google, YouTube, um, I'd say common sense, a lot of that. And
Yeah.
then go and practice. We had our truck and everything ready to go before we hit the road. So we were able to practice at the lot where we keep our truck. So we would take our other vehicle and drive it up the ramp on our hot shot trailer, our big techs. And we just figure out different ways to secure it down. We put other stuff on there and just play around with our equipment, see what works, see what doesn't, um, and just practice.
Got you. So I see you have a lot of let me see if this is my camera. I'll see if this is the microphone. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try to turn my volume down. Sorry about that. But I
Yeah.
see what is your YouTube channel?
Oh yeah, it's rolling or roll in with Rick and Joe. I should probably I can actually send that to you. I'll put it in the chat real quick.
Yeah, put that in the chat. Maybe I need to turn this fan off.
Can I send links in this chat?
Go for it. It's my first time ever doing it.
I'm gonna put the handle on there. or the
Yeah.
names, and then I'm gonna see if I can send it. Hold on.
Do you have? So that's our private chat. Do you have it? Hold on. Let me turn your camera. Let me turn your volume down. You there? I lost you for a sec.
Hey, you're getting yeah, I saw.
Yeah, I see it, but I lost you. I can't see you, and I can't hear you right now. It's like a vicious echo.
Okay, better.
A little better. You must be in a bad area. Where are you right now? If you don't
I'm
mind
in
me asking,
Virginia.
what state are you in?
Whitesville, Whitesville, Virginia.
Okay, we'll try to bear. I'll try to bear with you. It's just a little choppy.
Okay.
If I can't figure out how to move it over inside of the chat, then I'll do it later on. I'll post all your links
Okay.
to your channel so people can find out and learn more about you, because I never started out I never started out as an owner operator. I always been a company driver,
Yeah.
and a lot of the things I had to teach myself. So that's why I asked you that, and that's why it was interesting, because, as you said, you and your boyfriend, y'all basically taught yourself to handle
Yeah.
these complex loads. And to me, knowing the height and with a measuring stick and knowing how high these specific loads are on a step deck, you can put something that's 5 inches over and you'll hit a bridge. You understand what
Yep.
I'm saying? So you told me that you have a low profile step deck. What's the difference between
Yeah.
a low profile step deck and a flatbed as opposed to a dry van? I have a lot of people that follow my page and they aren't truck drivers, so they might want to get in the truck and they might be interested in the truck. And so, what's the difference between a dry van, a flatbed trailer, and a step deck, low profile step deck trailer?
So a dry van is basically, it's just like a big box, and you just put stuff in there. Generally, I may not be right, but I don't think you touch the load. Generally speaking, um, so you don't really do much. A lot of those guys just pretty much drive and go.
Yeah.
Flat is completely open. It's just a trailer. It looks like a skateboard. In fact, that's what we call it, skateboard in the trucking community. Uh,
Right.
it's open, and you have to secure those loads, chains, straps, sometimes tarps, actually a lot of times tarps.
Okay.
And flat trailers they're pretty high off the ground, so you're pretty limited on what you can take height wise. And then my trailer, I have a step deck, but it's just a tad lower than a step deck. It's a low profile step deck, so
Okay.
it's pretty much, I think it's about four, three. It's 3 feet, 3 feet off the ground, 3 feet off the ground. So it's about as tall as the hot shot, which is why we got it, because it's pretty much the same height as the hot shot. I don't want
Okay.
to flatbed with the winch bar, pulled down up here. I'd rather just be right here. um,
Right.
but that the same thing as flatbed as far as securing loads. You got chains, straps, tarps, bungeeing. I mean, what have you, and then all kinds of different arrangements you could do with that. Um, and the advantage to that, you can take higher loads because you're sitting lower to the ground.
That was my next question. So now, I mean, you answered my next question. So, but another question, once you said you're sitting low to the ground, it reminds me of a removable gooseneck or a low boy or RGN. Do you guys ever worry about being caught up on train tracks since it sits so low to the ground? Have you ever been caught up on what's called a high center or any train tracks? Do you worry about that?
Yes, I do. Very often. We have our navigation set up for our clearance on the ground, but still sometimes she doesn't really know everything, so she just takes you in weird roads. So you kind of have to be vigilant, um, on like bumps or any kind of humps. Railroads, I try to avoid as much as possible. Sometimes, sometimes they're just flat. It's okay. But some of them have these humps, and I'm like, I'm not going that way, because we've bottomed out so many times with this thing. So I can only imagine RGNs out there and the low boys.
Yeah. So
'Cause
when you say bottom out, what do you mean by bottom out?
So the bottom of the trailer gets caught on the ground and you get stuck. You can't move either way. I mean, there have been times where our truck wheels are moving, but it's so heavy on top of the trailer, whatever's on there, and then it's making contact with the ground. You can't move, so you're stuck.
And that's very dangerous. Now, is that with a regular load or an oversized load? Have you bottomed out with regular loads or have you bottomed out with oversized loads?
Regular loads, and we've
Wow.
very few times taken oversized loads. Um, it's something that we're trying to get into more. At least I'm trying to push for, go out that direction eventually. But yeah, just regular loads, we've bottomed out, and it's just because we're just sitting so low to the ground. So, and we
Gotcha.
bottom the middle of the street. So,
Okay. Okay. Wow. So I've got caught up on a high center once before with a RGN trailer.
oh,
And yeah, you tend to worry about that a lot. So they was like my biggest fears, getting caught on train tracks. And as
mm-hmm,
my loads got higher and higher, I mean, I think that the highest load I ever hauled was 14.6. And it just freaked me out. And I said, I don't know if I don't, it was either 14.2 or 14.6. I said, I can't go any higher than that because
mm-hmm,
my nerves were just on edge. So you said you started out as a hot shot driver. That's great. It's a lot of people who follow Ghost Dog Trucker. I have a lot of hot shot drivers. They might want to go over to your social media pages, and before we leave, make sure you drop all of your handles to your
mm-hmm.
pages so people could contact you if they need information. If you're open, if you're open to that, if you're
Yeah.
open to teaching and giving people information. So now you mentioned something about tarping. So do you still have with a step deck trailer and a flatbed trailer? Do you still have to tarp your loads?
Yeah, yeah. You still gotta tarp your loads. Unfortunately, I wish we didn't, but definitely still have to. And it's not always fun. I mean, you just do what you gotta do. It's those things are heavy. I think people don't realize how heavy those things are. Uh,
Right. So
but
now, I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead. What were you
uh,
saying?
you know about tarping. You know how heavy those tarps can be. We got the lumber tarps. I don't know if you use those things.
Yeah, I know all about tarping. So that was my next question. So couple companies that I work for, Melton Truck Lines use the lumber tarps, and they are like super heavy. Give us a brief breakdown on the difference between tarps. Tarps are basically okay. Before you get a breakdown of the tarps, I want to say this: the tarp. I used to love the tarp loads because those loads sometimes paid the most money. Like you might get a jet engine,
Yep.
you might get a chiller, and these things need to be tarp. But also you might run into some things that need to be tarp or covered. And once you cover it, they sit it right outside. So explain to us what's the difference between a lumber tarp and a regular tarp.
So regular tarp, but the biggest difference I would say with the lumber tarp, it has the flap that kind of pulls over on the
Yeah.
front.
Oh man, she broke. Hold on. She in Virginia,
And
y'all. You froze up. Oh, hold on. You had froze up real quick. You there? 1 second. Yeah, she froze up, y'all. Hold on. Let me send her a message through the chat. I wonder if it's my connection. I mean, I'm inside of my house. My connection is pretty good. But those mountains of Virginia, it's easy to freeze up. She was about to break it down too. Let me see. I think she coming back on. You there? All right. Yeah, just take your time. Take your time. Let me see. We got time. Yeah, we'll just wait till she could tap back in. And while I'm waiting for her to tap back in, I want to check my phone to see if I could see her on Facebook. Um, can you hear me? Your camera is on. It's just frozen for some reason. I'm gonna see if I could turn your camera off and then turn it back on. I'm gonna re-add you to the stream. Let me see. Yeah, you frozen. Hold on 1 second. Bear with us, y'all. Josie tapped on in. I know how I know how reception could be on inside of those mountains. So just bear with us. I'm gonna see if I could tap into her on Facebook. Waiting on my guest to check in. All right, let me see if I can see her on Facebook. I think we might have lost her, y'all. I'm gonna hang on in here till she could tap back in. Hold on. No, don't leave. Okay, yeah, leave and come back. She left anyway. Hold up. Let me see. Yeah, she left the stream. Excuse me. I'm gonna see if she can come back. Maybe I gotta send. Okay, here she go right here. Boom. I hope it works. Come on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I can hear you. I just can't see you.
Why?
It's
Okay.
an echo. Let me close my phone tab. Is it echo on your end?
No, you sound fine.
Yeah, it's a heavy echo. Do you have me on speakerphone?
Yeah, here, maybe I might have to put my headphone
Yeah,
on.
it's probably the speakerphone.
All right, let me put my earphones on.
Okay. Hello. You there? All right. Well, while we wait until she tap back in, when you tap back in, just let me know. So what she's explaining is the different types of tarps, and we'll get into the different types of tarps when she comes back on. So now with the different kind of tarps, you have regular tarps and you have lumber tarps. And when they get wet or if it's cold, those things already weigh about 100 pounds. So you can imagine when they get wet, they weigh much more. When it's cold, those tarps tend to freeze. So as a man, I even struggle lifting those tarps over my head. So I want to know when she popped back in, the question that I want to ask her is when y'all go to your page, you say you can't hear me? Hold on 1 second, y'all. It's my first time using this software, so we'll figure this out. I just know it's probably the area that Josie's in. I can't see you or hear you. I don't know. Hold on. See, we was doing good. I just don't know if y'all heard that echo. So I'm gonna tell her to leave out and then come back in again. I want y'all to get her story though. Like she got it. Her story's popping. All right, while she doing that, I'm gonna pop on into Facebook. If I gotta end this stream, we just gonna come in on Facebook. It might be a little easier just to come in on Facebook. All right, let me see. There she go.
Okay. Is that better?
There you go. Okay, I can hear you. Yeah, much better. So whatever you got going, whatever it is now, keep it right there.
Okay. Don't move.
Don't add nothing. We'll edit. We'll do all that afterwards. All right.
Okay.
Because
Don't move.
I really want people to get your story because you have a really deep story. You was a ballerina and you went into being a truck driver. I mean, that's kind of amazing to me. So real quick,
Yeah.
how do you lift? So I want people to go to your page, and you, as ballerinas, you're already petite. How do you lift those tarps? Like when your boyfriend, your husband, when he's not around, or let's say he's out, like he might get, I don't know, maybe he went to lunch or something, or maybe y'all had to do something and you had to do the load by yourself. All right. Does he help you lift the tarps all the time? Let's
No,
start there.
not all the time. No. And also, when we are together, I do try and ask him, or I do try and do it myself, anyways, just so it kind of builds the confidence. Now I know I can do it. I'm like, okay, great. But I don't lift anything. We're just put it that way. I don't lift anything over my head. That's crazy. You don't even need to do all that. Just think smarter. Work smarter. You don't need to work harder. Obviously, I'm limited, so there's not a question in my mind of, oh, is this going to get done? Like, it has to get done. Just how is it going to get done? So when they're in a bundle, and I just posted one on my TikTok too. I can lift up my smaller tarps and I can kind of hoist them up and walk them places. But getting up on the loads, forklift drivers will put them up there, and then I can unroll everything up there. If that's not the case, then unroll the tarp. Just unroll it. Don't unroll it completely, but unroll it so that the bundle is smaller, and
Yeah.
that's a lot easier to move that way. And
Right.
once you get the bundle up there, and then you hop up there, you just pull the rest of it towards you, and you don't have to work so hard. The same thing with the lumber tarps. Just unroll them and then put them up there.
Yeah.
It's still hard, but it's not. You don't need to be using brute strength all the time. And with those ones, when they're bundled up and I'm putting them away, I have to flip them on the ground. So I don't just lift those straight up. There's no
So,
need to, and I don't have to. So
so are you talking about the rec? So you have the regular tarps and the lumber tarps.
yeah,
What's the difference between the regular tarps and the lumber tarps?
the regular tarps are a lot lighter, so they're about like 100 pounds, I think. And then the lumber tarps are like 120, something like that. So about as much as I weigh. Um,
Wow, 120 pounds for the lumber tarps. Now I haven't had lumber tarps in a long time, so I can imagine. What do you do when the tarps get wet? I mean, they're even heavier then.
the same thing. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
All right, got you.
I
All
mean,
right,
most of the time the forklift guys are pretty cool. They'll put it up there for me. Um, but if not, just unroll it and then just a little bit up there. Just get a little bit up there. As long as you can get some of the bundle up on the load, and then you can hop up there. Pulling it is easy. You'll just pull the rest of it up there, and then lining it up with the tarp lines. That part is easy. It's just moving it around, like getting it up on top of the load. That's probably like the
yeah.
hardest part.
Yeah. Now, as truck drivers, a lot of things that may seem simple to us or just be common to us, it's not real common to other people, especially people that's really just getting into flatbed trucking. Now, I specialize in flatbed and specialized truck and flatbed, RGN, step deck. I pulled them all. The only trucker that I haven't pulled, like we said in the beginning, was a dry van. And you said something like you don't know. Most of them just drive. Some of them do unload their own freight, which is called touch
That's
freight.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's more physical. It's probably just as physical as a flatbed truck driver. But I guess I would say I'm just going into the next question of what interests some things that may interest me as a flatbed driver might not interest a dry van driver. But I've seen a certain technique that you use one time because I always had a problem that when I was trying to tighten my chains up and with my winch with my tensioners, and I never could get my chain tight enough. Every time I went to tighten it down, it seemed like the chain started spinning, right?
Yeah, they
So I
started.
see, yeah, so I seen you stick your load bar inside of the chain and you held it down so the chain wouldn't spin and you could get that tension. Do you mind explaining that to someone who may want to be who may be interested and they're getting in the flatbed and they might find themselves outside like me for an hour trying to figure out why my chain isn't getting tight?
So, I think that usually happens when your binders are old. So that's first and foremost, get new binders. But I still have old binders. Or
Okay.
when they're frozen, I think they were starting to twist too. But it usually happens when you're hooking chain to chain. So I hope that makes sense. You're not hooking the trailer to a chain, it's chain to chain. And there's really nothing for it to kind of hold one end. It's just two loose chains, so it's easier for it to spin when they're rusty binders. So if you stick like the winch bar in like the loop, oh, the hook where the loop next to the hook, it'll stop it from spinning. And then same thing with this side. I actually have a crowbar when I'm in that situation.
Yeah.
I'll put the crowbar in this one, and then I'll put the winch bar in this one, and then I'll ratchet down. It just stops that from spinning so that you don't have twisted chains, and then you can get a secure chain.
Yeah,
So
I always found myself with that problem. And like I said, a lot of people may just think that's just, oh, it's common sense. But sometimes when you out there, it's 100 degrees or you freezing cold, you're just trying to get that
mhm.
load secure, get it done and out on the road. The good thing with you is that you have a partner, you have a mate that you can drive with that can y'all can actually assist each other. So it's a lot of things I want to ask you, but let's go into do you guys team drive? Are you team driving? Like for instance, can you explain what and if it is, can you explain if you do, can you explain what exactly team driving is? Just really, really briefly.
Yeah, so truck drivers can only drive I think it's what is it, 11 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Um so you can only drive that many hours, and after that you need to take a 10-hour break. Team drivers, when true team driving would be okay. So my partner, his name is Rick, so I'll refer to him as Rick this time moving forward.
Gotcha.
So when Rick is done with his driving, let's say he does all his 11 hours, back to back, I would hop in and then I would do my 11 hours. So we don't really need to take that 10-hour break. You can literally just keep going and going and going.
Mm,
Um, we've done true team a handful of times. It's just crazy. It's crazy. You can't really get sleep back here because the roads are trash.
right.
Indiana. Um, so it's kind of hard to do true team, but what we usually end up doing is we'll have, like, let's say an 18-hour drive. He'll drive, I don't know, 8, and then I'll drive 8, and then whoever is up for the next day, they'll just drive out the remaining 2 or 3 or whatever it is. So still the same story. We just break down the hours because you don't need to drive your whole set of 11 hours if you don't have to. So if
Right.
it's 12 hours, we'll do 6 and 6. If it's 14, we'll do 7 and 7. So
And that's sweet. And the difference is from my experience, from being pulling a step deck, a lot of the receivers aren't open. Let me get a drink of water. Excuse me. A
yeah.
lot of the receivers aren't open on the weekends. Do you find yourself being able to get more sleep, you and your partner, as opposed to a drive van driver who just has to constantly drive. So that's why I really got into flatbed and step deck. I keep saying flatbed, but I have to keep in mind like you pull a low profile step deck. Do you
Mm-hmm.
find yourself being able to sleep more as opposed to turning?
Yeah, that for sure. I didn't realize that aspect until I started watching like other YouTubers that drive vans. I'm like, dang, they have crazy schedules. Thankfully, with our stuff, we have forklift. Well, I guess they have forklift operators there too. But our stuff is pretty from like 9 to 5, 8 to 4. It's within like operating hours. So it's a plus because when they're open, we're there. When they're not, we just have to wait till they open again. Um,
Right.
but on the weekends, usually it depends on what we're taking, but usually they're not open. Unless like you have a delivery appointment. Like yesterday, we delivered to where did we deliver to? Oh, Hitachi out here in Bland, Virginia. And we had an appointment set for Saturday. So we were there, they said between like 8 and 5 or whatever.
Okay.
But we have more of a what's the word? We have more of a schedule than a drive-in driver would. So that's
Yeah.
a plus.
More and you get so excuse so basically you can create your own schedule based around the windows of the open windows of when they load you and offload you. That's a plus about being a step deck driver. You can
Yeah.
basically, especially being over the road, you can kind of map out your schedule a little more. Correct?
Yeah. And I can usually it's call in advance, so I tell them when I'm going to be there. So I'll be like, okay, well, I can't make it tomorrow because whatever. So I'm going to be there at 9 a.m. Thursday. They're going to be expecting me at that time. But usually it's kind of 50-50. Sometimes they have an appointment. Most times I'm calling though and letting them know when I'm going to be there.
Okay. And what type of loads do you haul?
Any and everything. Whatever can fit in my trailer, I'll take it. As long as the rate is good, I'll take it.
So do you do more? Okay, so I guess let me ask you this: is it more machinery or more general freight?
um It's kind of a mix, honestly.
Okay.
It's a good mix, I'd say. It just depends. We definitely take both, so I can't say it's one more than the other.
Okay. Do you have and people, if y'all viewing, y'all watching on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, if you have any questions for, it'll come up in the chat. Matter of fact, somebody just left something in the chat. Hold on. Okay, somebody said that they follow you, and forgive me, y'all. I'm just learning how to operate this system, and we're gonna do this much more. Somebody said I follow her, and she's awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Rick Pencil said he follows you, so hopefully you'll get more followers. If any truckers or truck herds have any questions for Josie, she's an owner operator. She's getting money. She's getting the bag because they turning and burning out there. And I think you do military loads, correct?
Yes, sir. Trying to get into government contractor right now, which is that's the thing about owner operators.
Mm-hmm.
You want to expand, but it's not like you can just have someone do it for you. You got to do that yourself. So we still got to keep the truck running and do all the physical work, but
Well,
also there's a business end.
well, have you
So
heard about the FEMA loads, Josie? Because
yes, I have.
I just posted I just made a post about that. Have you went to the SBA and looked into the and looked into the FEMA loads, the ST it's called STOS, and they're looking
Uh-huh.
for transportation providers. And since you already in the game and you have your own insurance and all of that,
Mm.
go there because the window closes soon. I was looking into the FEMA loads. I can send you the link
Yeah, can you send
once
me
we get
that? I was
off.
gonna take a note or something, but I don't even have paper or anything around here.
Yeah, I'll
I know.
send you the link to that because you know the business, and it seems to me that you have the what do you call it? You know how to book the loads. You how do you go about booking your own loads? You don't have to get super detailed or whatever.
Yeah.
And don't be scared if you make any mistake, you say something wrong, whatever. Like we we being
Okay.
natural. So how do you book your loads?
So, recently we just outsourced our dispatch service just because of kind of what I just said before. It was starting to get too much. We're trying to expand the business and then also run the truck, do all the
Okay.
physical work. But we both know how to dispatch. Usually it's with a broker, but over time you start to make connections with direct shippers, customers, and they'll call you. It's usually better to work with a direct customer, but we usually will book on load boards, truck stop, DAT, and then the brokers will send you like a list of loads they're trying to move. You can respond to those emails. But on the load board, somebody will post a load for going to a certain area for a certain rate. You want to know the commodity, the all the dimensions, especially with this. I want to know length, width, height. I got to know that. I can't just show up and this thing is too tall for me to take because then I got to get permits, yada yada.
Okay.
Um, Commodity, you got to know because I actually don't have ramps on this thing, so I can't take anything right now that needs ramps. If it is a machine with any type of wheels or something that I can move, it has to have a loading dock. So I'm like, you have that on both ends, shipping and receiving. So once all that is nice and settled out, usually I'll negotiate for a higher rate. There's been very few times where the rate was so immaculate. I'm like, I won't even mess with it, and I'll just take it for that rate. But most
Wow.
times I'm negotiating for a higher rate, and then once that's done, you guys agree on a rate. They send you over a rate confirmation. You sign it, and then you're good to go.
Josie know her stuff. Look how you broke that down. Now, I see a lot of things online, and I don't know how much time you got. I don't want to keep you too long, but
I'm
I
off
see
today.
you all okay. That's cool. I see a lot of things online where, well, people complain about the rates. Have you faced any problems with rates being too low for your cargo? Like they're trying to pay you, let's say, what, a dollar something a mile, and have you drive just disrespectful rates. Have you came into that? Have you bumped into that problem?
Yeah, I'd say they've gotten a little better. Um, but I would say this last year, like 2024, was pretty rough on us. We were making a profit, but it wasn't as much as we were previously. Um, and it's just like maintenance doesn't change in pricing. So obviously there's maintenance and at all of that just started to feel like it was closing in as far as our finances were going because the rates were just yeah, what you said straight up disrespectful. I'm like,
Yeah.
am I taking something for a dry van rate when I'm doing all this tarping, this chaining, the driving? It's crazy. So
Okay.
yeah,
So the step deck sometimes I don't know, but so does the step deck pay more than dry van loads?
should be yeah, yeah,
It
absolutely.
should be. Okay. That's the key
They
word.
used
It
to
should be, right?
they used to when we first started. They definitely were even for hotshot. We were making really 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 good money without really having to do much. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, it should be at this point.
So what is your suggestions for a driver, let's say fresh out of CDL school and that's looking to own their own hot shot or on their own okay, would you suggest that they get a hot shot first or jump straight into owning their own tractor and trailer? Because I assume you own you own your own tractor and trailer, or do you lease a trailer off of someone?
We own everything. We never leased any equipment. To me, it's not worth it. My opinion
Right.
works best for us.
Gotcha.
Um, yeah. But as far as what I recommend, it's kind of tough. I'm thinking like what I would have done different and kind of the ups and downs. I don't think I would get a tractor trailer right off the bat because insurance is going to be through the roof.
Mm,
I don't think a lot of people know that. Um, you're going to be paying a lot of money just for insurance, and then also the likelihood, especially now, the likelihood of brokers wanting to work with you with a tractor trailer and you're new, like fresh out of school, is not so likely. I think they're more likely to work with you if you have a hot shot. So I maybe would start out with a hot shot. You're paying less. The likelihood of brokers working with you is probably more likely.
Hmm.
Um, I hate to say that because it makes it sound like there's a stigma around that, but
No, no, because it's based on. I mean, it's based on your insurance, and that's why a lot of rookie drivers, whether your company or owner operator, as a company driver, find a hard time finding a job is because the companies don't want to pay all that insurance for a new driver. So I
yeah,
assume it's the same thing. Insuring your loads, insuring yourself. The insurance rates must be off the chain for a new driver, right? Is that what you're
yeah,
explaining?
yeah. If you're gonna get a tractor trailer for sure, right out of the gate, you're gonna be paying a lot of money. We're talking like thousands, so
Okay.
it's expensive. If you listen, if you have the customers for whatever reason, let's say you worked for a company prior or
Right.
something, and you're just now owner operator, you have customers lined up, and you can afford that, then yes, by all
Right.
means do that. But if you don't have any of that, I would start smaller and just suck it up for like a year and a
Mhm.
half in a hot shot, and then just work your way up. It takes a little bit of time.
So everybody's circumstances is different too. So I like how you answered that because someone else's circumstances may not be the same as your circumstances. So now let's get back to the ballerina thing. So now do you still okay, we jump all over the place a little bit. So being
Hmm.
over the road, okay, I'm gonna just like a two-part question.
Hmm.
So you're an over the road truck driver. What states do you travel in, and how do you still practice your I don't know, what do they call, how do you still practice for ballet?
Ballet. uh,
I don't know nothing about ballet. I've seen a few plays, but I don't know anything about ballet.
you said plays.
Right.
You mean ballet?
Right.
um, so we go to all states. We've been to every state except for Alaska and Hawaii. I'll go to Alaska, by the way, for the right price, but not this time of year. Um, so yeah, we've been to every state, but we generally like to stay around like the Midwest area to East Coast and maybe the South. So we kind of do this triangle thing inadvertently. We don't mean to do that; just kind of always happens that way. Um, the second part to that question, so it's kind of hard for me to practice just because I guess there's a few points of that. I'm limited on space in here. Also, we start our days pretty early and we drive right away. And most of the time, it's been now we offload or we deliver something in the morning, and then we drive to go pick something else up, and then we're outside again. So we're probably working out a good at least 2 hours a day at genuinely working out. So, by the time that's done, usually I'm driving after we're picking something up. By the time my shift is over, I just want to relax and rest. So the most I've been able to do that I have not given up on is just stretching the maintenance overall, which um, I didn't think there was going to be this long-term maintenance as far as keeping up with what I've done to my body these last years in ballet, the ligaments and stuff. I will have a lot of like hip pain if I don't stretch.
Okay.
So that's kind of been a motivating factor for me to just keep up with at least that. Um, I should, and I can be, on weekends or something. I could do like a ballet bar or something simple, but I just kind of really don't.
Have you ever thought about, because as a truck driver, we have a lot of back pains. Have you
Mhm.
ever thought about creating content to teach truckers how to stretch? I mean, I don't think I've seen anyone do that. I know I
Um,
need some. I know I need to learn some stretches for my own back.
I've thought about it. I just don't know when I'm gonna make the content because when I'm stretching, it's in the mornings.
Got
And
you.
you know, but I definitely thought about that because there are at least like three stretches I'm thinking about for drivers that they could do in the small space that would relieve a lot of their back pain, but they just don't know about it. There's specific muscle groups that drivers need to be stretching specifically that they should be aware of. If you feel a little tension there, you should know, being aware, being body aware.
Okay.
Um, so I definitely thought about that because it's a lot of avoidable things, especially even the dry van drivers, flatbed drivers for sure. There are a lot of just a few different stretches that they could be doing that would probably give them a lot of relief.
Yeah, I wish I I wish I would have did more stretching in my years of driving. So, um, what can you name two muscle groups that that a trucker may need to stress? Let's test it. Let's test your muscle, your anatomy.
So, a lot of lower back pain I can definitely see drivers having. The biggest one, it's called your psoas. It's the only muscle in the group that connects your upper half to your lower half. And if you could imagine me sideways like this,
Hmm.
it's a muscle that runs literally right through you this way to your legs. So that would be the muscle that I would for sure try and stretch every day or do something to relieve that, massage it or something. And then the next one, probably everybody knows about your hamstrings. Hamstrings and maybe like your vastus medialis. I would get that, or hip flexors, which is up by the hip up here. That's a good one. So I would say psoas and the hip flexor. Those are two really good ones that a lot of people don't think about.
Psoas and the hip flexor. That's some great information right there. So
You could look you could look that
I,
stuff up on YouTube. Just stretches for that, and I mean it takes you stay in a stretch for 30 seconds. Do it on your left and your right. That's a minute out of your day. You have a minute to spare.
yeah. Are there any stretches that you can do sitting down?
Yeah, actually, I'm sitting down right here. I'll do the. Let me see. I don't know if I can. If you guys can see, can you see? So
You're
this
really
is called.
small on my screen. Let me enlarge you. I don't want to lose. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to lose no connection. Go ahead, go for it. I'll see it on the replay.
So this is it's a log stretch. So I have my leg out in front of me, and then this one. I know not everybody can do this, but the idea, this is the goal, is to have it like right on top, and then just sit like that, and then go forward, side to side, and then just simply switch to the other side.
Got you. And that
But
helps the lower back.
yes, especially stretching forward and side to side. That will get that's what gets your psoas. That's what gets your glutes back here. It opens all that up back there. So
Okay. Okay. So is there anything that you would like before we wrap it up? Is there anything? I mean, were you done? I just did I cut
oh
you
yeah,
off?
yeah, that's good. I think that's all I can do sitting down.
Is there anything that you would like people to know about you, your company? First of all, what's the name of your company? Hold on, before what's the name of your company? And if anybody comes across this, because the reach on this platform, like I just tried something new. I just didn't really want to go on Facebook. I know if I would have just went on Facebook, it'd be hundreds and hundreds of people watching, but I wanted to stream to all platforms. It seems like the reach is down a little bit, but I will repurpose it and reshare it. But is if anyone was to come across this in the future, if they seen the name of your company, what's the name of your company, and are you open to getting the loads for the good right amount of money?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So it's Pinto Logistics. We have. I mean, well, at this point, we're pretty much taking any and everything for the right rate. Just reach out to me and we can talk. We can talk rates.
Here, I'm gonna
Um,
type it in there. It's Pinto, Pinto.
yep. And then logistics.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in the chat. Gotcha. I'm gonna put it in the chat and I'm gonna pin it up. And what are all your social medias? Like how do you so are you on TikTok, you're on YouTube? Drop all of your handles so people can find you. One person said that he already follows you and you have some great content. So what are some places where people can find you and ask questions? I know people want to know more about the owner operator
Yeah, yeah,
side
for
of the business.
So YouTube, I haven't really been posting there, but I do have a lot of stuff, especially in the hot shot. So any hot shotters, you guys might want to head over there and check that out. It's Rollin, just with an N, with Rick and Joe. Rollin with Rick and Joe. And
Okay.
then my TikTok, I'll do that when you're ready.
Hold on one second. No, you can spell it out because I'm going to just type it up now as you going.
My TikTok handle is at Josie.jo, Josi.jo.
Got you.
And then my Instagram is at Josie Webster. That's one word. JosiWebster.
Got you.
And then, of course, the business has its own Instagram and Facebook. And that's just Pinto Logistics. You can find that just like that on Facebook and Instagram.
Look, did I? Can you see that in the chat? I don't. And it seems like your Facebook and your YouTube came up automatically, or am I? Oh, hold on. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know what I'm doing.
I I can't see.
All right, I'll figure it out. Let me see.
Okay, I can't
Pinto.
see it on there.
Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna try to type it in here. Let me see if that comes up. It just keeps doing the same thing. But what I'll do when I edit it, I'll put everything inside of the description so people can
Yeah,
find out how to contact them. Do you want people to contact? Look, just go follow Josie. Go follow Josie Joe. Take it from there. Leave us some questions in the comments. But for the most part, go ahead and follow Josie. I appreciate you joining me today for my first live ever. We're going to do this again. I'm gonna follow up with you. We're going to do this again. Maybe we could talk more about the owner operator side, how to book loads. Do you want to get into more securement? Teaching people how to secure. I'm just really big on securement.
yeah,
I think you handle your loads pretty safely. Dive more into the safety aspect of it, but I mean, I think we covered a lot today. I appreciate you
yeah.
taking out the time. Tell Rick I said what's going on. What's up, driver? Um, and,
He's over
if y'all,
there.
and if y'all ever in Philadelphia, let me know. We could go out. Me, you, Rick, go
Yeah,
out, have some lunch. I'll show y'all around. We can link up, man. And
yeah. We're over there pretty often. I know Philly.
oh, y'all in Philly sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. We like I said, we got he's got family up in Jersey, so and for whatever reason, we like to go to Philly pretty often. It's not too far, so.
Yeah, the Eagles just won the Super Bowl, so we we,
Mhm.
we turned up over here. I don't
Oh, crazy. You don't know how to act.
yeah, so it was a pleasure talking to you, and we can reconvene at another time.
That sounds good to me.
All right, okay, Josie, be safe and enjoy your ride.
Yep, we'll do. Drive safe, driver.
I'm in the house. All right, peace, man. I'll be in touch with you.